A cosmic exchange. The sleek, iridescent hull of the interstellar transport ship glided silently through the star-studded void. Inside, Zia Martinez clutched her datapad, her dark eyes wide with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. The 18-year-old prodigy from Earth was mere moments away from making history as the first human to attend the Galactic Academy of Sciences. As the ship decelerated, a breathtaking view filled the viewport. The Academy's main campus sprawled across an entire moon, its crystalline domes and towering spires gleaming under the light of a distant blue sun. Zilla's heart raced. This was it, her chance to prove that humanity deserved a place among the stars. The ship docked with a gentle hiss, and Zilla stepped onto the arrival's platform. The difference in gravity immediately made her feel lighter, almost weightless. She took a deep breath, noting the slightly sweet scent of the recycled air. "Welcome, Terran exchange student," a melodious voice chimed. Zilla turned to see a tall, willowy being with iridescent skin approaching her. "I am Professor Xandri, your assigned mentor. Please follow me." Zilla hefted her bag and fell into step beside the alien professor, marveling at the diversity of life forms bustling around them. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and colors moved with purpose through the bustling spaceport. "Professor," Zilla ventured, "I can't thank you enough for this opportunity. I promise I won't let you down." Xandri's large, multifaceted eyes regarded her curiously. "Your gratitude is noted, though unnecessary. You are here because your species has shown potential. Whether that potential is realized remains to be seen." As they entered the main academic complex, Zilla couldn't help but gape at the advanced technologies surrounding her. Holographic displays flickered with equations beyond her comprehension, while anti-gravity lifts whisked students effortlessly between levels. "Your living quarters are this way," Xandri said, leading her down a corridor lined with shimmering force fields. "You will find all necessary amenities inside. Classes begin at first light tomorrow. I suggest you use this time to acclimate and review your course materials." Zilla nodded, trying to absorb every detail. As they walked, she noticed other students giving her curious, sometimes wary glances. She squared her shoulders, determined to prove herself. Her room was small but efficient, with a bed that seemed to mold itself to her body and a desk that responded to her thoughts. Zilla spent the next few hours poring over her class schedule and introductory materials, her mind reeling at the advanced concepts she would be expected to grasp. As artificial night fell across the academy, Zilla's nervousness returned. She tossed and turned on the too comfortable bed, her mind racing with doubts. What if she couldn't keep up? What if she embarrassed herself, and by extension, all of humanity? Morning came too quickly. Zilla donned her academy uniform, a sleek jumpsuit that adjusted to her body temperature, and made her way to her first class, Advanced Quantum Mechanics and its Applications in Interstellar Travel. The lecture hall was a vast amphitheater, filled with beings of all descriptions. Zilla took a seat near the front, ignoring the whispers and stares from her alien classmates. The professor, a being composed entirely of pulsating energy, materialized at the podium. Today, the professor's voice resonated directly in Zilla's mind. "We will discuss the principles of quantum entanglement as they relate to faster-than-light communication." Zilla's fingers flew across her datapad, struggling to keep up with the rapid-fire delivery of information. The concepts were far beyond anything she had studied on Earth, and she found herself falling behind almost immediately. During a brief break, a tentacled student approached her. "You're the human, correct?" It burbled, its translator struggling with the concept. "I am Zilx. Why are you here? Surely your species cannot comprehend these advanced principles." Zilla felt a flash of anger, but she pushed it down. "We're quick learners," she replied with a forced smile. "I'm here to study and contribute, just like anyone else." As the day progressed, Zilla found herself increasingly overwhelmed. In xenobiology, she struggled to understand the complex life cycles of silicon-based life forms. In theoretical astrophysics, her calculations lagged far behind those of her peers. By the time she returned to her quarters that evening, Zilla was exhausted and disheartened. She collapsed onto her bed, fighting back tears of frustration. Had she made a terrible mistake in coming here? A gentle chime interrupted her brooding. It was a message from Professor Exandri. Your performance today was not unexpected. However, I sense potential in you, Zilla Martinez of Earth. Remember why you are here. Adapt. Persevere. The galaxy is watching. Zilla read the message twice, then sat up, wiping her eyes. The professor was right. She couldn't give up after one difficult day. She was here to learn, to grow, to show the galaxy what humans were capable of. With renewed determination, Zilla pulled out her datapad and began reviewing the day's lessons. She might be behind now, but she would catch up. She had to, for herself, for Earth, and for the future of human-alien relations. As she worked late into the night, the stars outside her window seemed to twinkle with encouragement. Tomorrow would be better. It had to be. The adventure was only beginning, and Zilla Martinez was ready to face whatever challenges the Galactic Academy of Sciences had in store. The unorthodox approach. Weeks passed at the Galactic Academy of Sciences, and Zilla found herself settling into a grueling routine. Every day was a battle against concepts that seemed to defy her human understanding, against the skeptical looks from her alien peers, and against her own self-doubt. One particularly challenging morning, Zilla sat in advanced quantum mechanics, her brow furrowed in concentration. The energy-being professor was discussing the intricacies of manipulating subspace fields for faster-than-light travel. And so the professor's thoughts resonated. By applying a tachyonic pulse to the quantum foam, we can create a stable wormhole for instantaneous travel. Zilla's hand shot up before she could stop herself. Excuse me, Professor, but wouldn't that method risk collapsing the wormhole due to temporal feedback? The lecture hall fell silent. The professor's energy form flickered in what Zilla assumed was surprise. An interesting observation, Terran Zilla. However, the risk is negligible when using proper shielding techniques. But Zilla wasn't satisfied. What if we approached it differently? On Earth, we have a concept called quantum tunneling. Could we apply that on a macro scale to essentially tunnel through spacetime instead of puncturing it? Murmurs rippled through the class. The professor paused, considering. An intriguing proposition. Unorthodox, certainly. I suggest you explore this idea further and present your findings to the class next week. Excitement bubbled in Zilla's chest. This was her chance to prove herself. Over the next few days, she threw herself into research, barely sleeping as she combined Earth theories with alien technologies in ways never before considered. In her hallucinobiology class, Zilla's unique perspective continued to shine. During a discussion on extremophile lifeforms, she drew parallels to Earth's tardigrades, suggesting new avenues for developing resilient space exploration suits. Professor Exandri observed these developments with growing interest. One evening, they called Zilla to their office. Your progress is unexpected, Exandri said, their iridescent skin shimmering. Your methods are unorthodox, but they yield interesting results. I believe it's time for you to undertake a more significant project. Zilla's heart raced. What kind of project, Professor? Exandri gestured to a holographic display. The Academy has long sought to improve our faster-than-light communication systems. Current methods are limited by quantum entanglement pairs. We need a breakthrough. Zilla studied the schematics, her mind already racing with possibilities. I might have an idea, Professor. It's a bit out there, but what if we combined quantum entanglement with gravitational waves? Sandri's multifaceted eyes blinked rapidly. Explain. Over the next hour, Zilla outlined her theory, drawing on Earth's recent discoveries in gravitational wave detection and the Academy's advanced quantum technologies. Her idea was to use artificially generated gravitational waves as a carrier for quantum-entangled particles, potentially allowing for instantaneous communication across vast distances without the need for paired particles. When she finished, Sandry was silent for a long moment. "Your proposal is highly unconventional, Zilla Martinez. It goes against centuries of established theory." Zyla's heart sank, but Sandry continued, "However, it also shows promise. You have my permission to pursue this project. You will be given access to the necessary resources and a team of graduate students." Elated, Zilla threw herself into the work. Her team, initially skeptical of the human's ideas, gradually warmed to her enthusiasm and creative problem-solving. They spent long hours in the lab, combining technologies in ways never before attempted. But not everyone at the academy was pleased with this development. A group of conservative faculty members, led by the stern Professor Wexler, viewed Zilla's project with growing alarm. "This is preposterous," Wexler growled during a faculty meeting. "We cannot allow an underdeveloped species to meddle with such advanced concepts. The risks are too great." Sandry stood firm. "The purpose of this academy is to push the boundaries of science. Zilla Martinez has shown remarkable aptitude and a fresh perspective. Her project will continue." As word of Zilla's controversial project spread, tensions at the academy rose. Some students, inspired by her innovative thinking, began to question long-held assumptions in their own fields. Others, feeling threatened, increased their hostility towards the human in their midst. Zilla, however, remained focused on her work. Late one night, as she fine-tuned the gravitational wave generator, she had a breakthrough. The quantum particles responded to the waves in a way she hadn't anticipated, showing signs of faster-than-light information transfer. Excitedly, she called her team together. "Look at this," she said, pointing to the data streams. "We're seeing quantum information riding the gravitational waves. If we can stabilize this, we could potentially communicate instantaneously across the galaxy." Her team's excitement was palpable. They worked through the night, refining the process. By morning, they had a working prototype that could send simple binary signals faster than light. Zilla, exhausted but exhilarated, prepared to present their findings to the Academy board. As she walked to the presentation hall, she overheard whispers from passing students. "Did you hear? The human's actually done it." "Impossible. It must be a mistake." "What if she's right? This could change everything." Taking a deep breath, Zilla entered the hall. The room was packed, with faculty and students alike eager to see the outcome of this controversial project. At the front, Professor Xandri nodded encouragingly, while Professor Wexler glowered with barely concealed contempt. Zilla stepped up to the podium, her heart pounding. This was it, the moment to prove that humanity deserved its place among the stars. As she began her presentation, she felt a surge of confidence. Whatever the outcome, she had already shown what humans were capable of when given the chance. The future of interstellar communication, and perhaps of human-alien relations, hung in the balance as Zilla Martinez prepared to reveal her groundbreaking discovery to the Galactic Academy of Sciences. Breakthrough and backlash. The presentation hall buzzed with anticipation as Zilla took her place at the podium. She could feel the weight of countless alien eyes upon her, some curious, others skeptical, and a few outright hostile. Esteemed faculty and fellow students, Zilla began, her voice steady despite her nerves. "Today, I present to you a new paradigm in faster-than-light communication." As she explained her theory of quantum information riding gravitational waves, the room fell into a hushed silence. Even Professor Wexler leaned forward, his multiple eyes narrowing as he scrutinized every detail. When Zilla activated the prototype, a gasp rippled through the audience. On two separate screens, quantum-entangled particles danced in perfect synchronicity, despite being separated by the entire length of the Academy. "As you can see," Zilla explained, "we're achieving instantaneous information transfer across vast distances without the need for paired entangled particles. This could revolutionize interstellar communication." The moment she finished, the room erupted into chaos. Questions flew from all directions, some excited, others accusatory. Professor Xandri had to intervene to restore order. "This is unprecedented," Xandri announced, their skin shimmering with what Zila had come to recognize as excitement. "Zila Martinez and her team have achieved something truly remarkable. We will need time to verify these results, but if they hold true, this could change the face of galactic communication." As the crowd began to disperse, buzzing with discussion, Professor Vexler approached Zila. His voice was low, almost a growl. "Impressive, human, but don't think this changes anything. You and your kind are still centuries behind us. This anomaly doesn't prove your worth." Before Zila could respond, he swept away, leaving her with a mix of triumph and unease. Over the next few weeks, Zila's discovery sent shockwaves through the Academy. Some hailed it as a breakthrough that could usher in a new era of galactic cooperation. Others, particularly those aligned with Professor Vexler, viewed it as a dangerous anomaly that needed to be contained. Zila found herself at the center of a growing storm. Students from various species sought her out, eager to learn her unorthodox approach to problem-solving. She began holding informal study sessions, sharing Earth's scientific methods, and encouraging her alien peers to think outside their traditional boundaries. But as her influence grew, so did the backlash. One morning, Zila arrived at her lab to find it ransacked, her prototype destroyed. A message flickered on the wall, written in pulsating energy: "Go home, human. You don't belong here." Devastated but undeterred, Zila reported the incident to Professor Xandri. "This is most disturbing," Xandri said, their usually melodious voice tinged with concern. "Rest assured, we will investigate this thoroughly. In the meantime, I suggest you focus on rebuilding your prototype. Your work is too important to be derailed by such petty actions." Zila threw herself back into her work with renewed determination. Her team, now fiercely loyal, worked around the clock to recreate and improve their breakthrough. As they worked, news came that other research teams across the galaxy were attempting to replicate their results, with varying degrees of success. The controversy reached its peak when the Academy Board called for a formal debate on the implications of Zila's discovery. The event was to be broadcast across the galaxy, with representatives from various alien civilizations in attendance. On the day of the debate, the grand auditorium was packed. Zila sat on one side of the stage, flanked by Professor Xandri and supporters of her work. On the other side sat Professor Vexler and his allies, their faces set in grim determination. The moderator, a being of pure energy similar to Zila's quantum mechanics professor, called the debate to order. Today, we address a question that will shape the future of our galactic community. What place does humanity have in advanced cosmic society? Professor Vexler spoke first, his voice resonating with authority. "Colleagues, let us not be blinded by one fortuitous discovery. Humans are a young, volatile species. Their history is rife with conflict and destruction. Can we truly trust them with the kind of power this discovery might unleash?" Murmurs of agreement rippled through parts of the audience. Zila felt her heart sink, but she steeled herself as she took the podium. "It's true," she began, her voice clear and strong, "that humanity has made mistakes. Our history isn't perfect, but it's precisely because of our struggles that we've learned to innovate, to think creatively, to solve problems in ways others might not consider." She gestured to the assembled aliens. "Each of your species has unique strengths. Humans, we adapt, we question, we imagine. And yes, sometimes we fail, but we learn from those failures and come back stronger." Zila's voice grew passionate. "This discovery isn't just about faster communication. It's about the power of diversity in scientific thought. By combining your advanced knowledge with our fresh perspective, think of what we could achieve together." The debate raged on for hours. Arguments flew back and forth, touching on philosophy, ethics, and the very nature of scientific progress. As it neared its end, an unexpected voice spoke up. Zilx, the tentacled student who had once dismissed Zila, floated to the center of the stage. "I once believed humans had no place among us," it burbled. "But working with Zila has shown me the value of their unique viewpoint. Perhaps we have become too set in our ways, too certain of our superiority. Is that not contrary to the very spirit of scientific inquiry?" A hush fell over the auditorium. Zilla held her breath, sensing a shift in the atmosphere. Professor Vexler sputtered, trying to regain control of the narrative, but the damage was done. As the debate concluded, no firm decision was reached, but Zila could see in the eyes of many audience members a new light of curiosity and consideration. It wasn't a total victory, but it was a start. As she left the auditorium, exhausted but hopeful, Professor Xandri approached her. "You've stirred quite the cosmic hornet's nest, Zila Martinez," they said, a hint of amusement in their melodious voice. "But perhaps that's exactly what we needed. Rest now. Tomorrow we have much work to do." Zila nodded, a mixture of excitement and trepidation filling her. She had come to the Galactic Academy of Sciences to learn, but she was beginning to realize that perhaps she had something to teach as well. The future stretched before her, vast and unknown, but for the first time since her arrival, Zila felt truly ready to face it. Little did she know that her greatest challenge and opportunity was just around the corner, poised to test not just her scientific acumen, but the very foundations of human-alien cooperation. Certainly. I'll continue with Part 4 of the story, Crisis at the Academy. Part 4, Crisis at the Academy. The aftermath of the debate brought a tense calm to the Galactic Academy of Sciences. Zila found herself at the center of a quiet revolution, with more students and even some faculty members seeking her out for collaboration and fresh perspectives. However, the undercurrent of resistance remained, led by the ever-watchful Professor Vexler. One standard galactic month after the debate, Zila was deep in her lab, fine-tuning the gravitational wave communicator with her team. Suddenly, the ground beneath them shuddered violently. "What was that?" Zilx burbled, its tentacles wavering anxiously. Before anyone could respond, the Academy's AI blared an alarm. "Warning, severe gravitational anomaly detected. All personnel evacuate to designated safe zones immediately." Zila and her team rushed out into the corridor, joining the throng of panicked students and faculty. The artificial gravity fluctuated wildly, causing some to float momentarily before crashing back down. In the main atrium, Professor Xandri's voice cut through the chaos. "Remain calm. Our shields are holding, but we're experiencing unprecedented gravitational disturbances. The source appears to be a nearby neutron star that's suddenly become unstable." Zila pushed her way through the crowd to reach Xandri. "Professor, what's happening?" Xandri's iridescent skin pulsed with worry. "The neutron star KL-92, which we've been studying for centuries, has begun to collapse in on itself at an alarming rate. If it continues, it could form a black hole that would threaten not just the Academy, but this entire sector of space." As if to underscore the gravity of the situation, another violent tremor shook the Academy. Warning lights flashed as hairline cracks appeared in the crystalline domes overhead. Professor Vexler pushed his way to the front, his multiple eyes wide with fear and anger. "This is unprecedented. Our models never predicted this level of instability. We must evacuate immediately." "There's no time," Xandri countered. "Even our fastest ships couldn't outrun the gravitational effects if that star collapses completely. We need a solution, and fast." All eyes turned to the bank of holoscreens displaying the rapidly deteriorating neutron star. The Academy's most brilliant minds gathered, frantically discussing potential solutions, but none seemed feasible in the limited time they had. Zila stood there, her mind racing. She thought about the gravitational waves they'd been manipulating in her lab, about Earth's experiments with gravity manipulation, about the advanced alien tech surrounding her. Suddenly, an idea sparked. "Professor Xandri," she said, her voice cutting through the din, "what if we could stabilize the neutron star using a modified version of my communication device?" Vexilor scoffed. Absurd. Your little experiment couldn't possibly affect something on this scale. But Xandri held up a hand, silencing him. Explain, Zyla. Speaking rapidly, Zyla outlined her plan. We've been using gravitational waves to carry quantum information. What if we reverse the process? Use quantum entanglement to generate a massive, coordinated gravitational wave. We could potentially counter the star's collapse, giving it enough stability for your scientists to implement a long-term solution. A hush fell over the crowd. Xandri's multifaceted eyes blinked rapidly as they processed the idea. It's risky, they said finally. We'd need to scale up your device exponentially, and the power requirements would be enormous. And if it fails, Vexilor added grimly, it could accelerate the collapse, dooming us all. Another violent shake rocked the academy. A support beam crashed down nearby, narrowly missing a group of students. The decision needed to be made now. Xandri straightened to their full height. We have no choice. Zyla, you have 1 hour. Gather your team and anyone else you need. All academy resources are at your disposal. What followed was the most intense hour of Zyla's life. Her lab became a hive of frenzied activity as students and faculty from all disciplines came together. They cannibalized other experiments for parts, rerouted power from all over the academy, and pushed the limits of their combined knowledge. Zyla found herself at the center of it all, coordinating teams, solving problems on the fly, and pushing through exhaustion with sheer determination. Even Professor Vexilor, seeing no alternative, lent his expertise to the effort. As the final seconds ticked down, Zyla stood before the hastily assembled machine, a towering construct of alien tech and human ingenuity. The neutron star on the holoscreen was a roiling mass of energy, on the verge of total collapse. It's now or never, Xandri said quietly. Zyla took a deep breath and activated the device. The academy shuddered as an enormous amount of energy surged through the machine. A beam of concentrated gravitational waves shot out, precisely targeted at the dying star. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly, the violent churning of the neutron star began to subside. The gravitational tremors rocking the academy lessened, then stopped altogether. A cheer went up from the assembled crowd as the holoscreen showed the neutron star stabilizing. They had done it. The impossible had been achieved through the combined efforts of humans and aliens working together. As the immediate danger passed and the academy's systems began to normalize, Zyla felt a hand on her shoulder. She turned to see Professor Vexilor, his expression unreadable. I may have been hasty in my judgment of you, human, he said stiffly. Your solution was unorthodox, but effective. Zyla nodded, too exhausted for words. Around her, humans and aliens alike were embracing, the shared brush with destruction having broken down the last barriers between them. As the adrenaline of the moment faded, Zyla realized that something profound had shifted. In rising to meet this crisis, the Academy, and perhaps the galaxy at large, had glimpsed the true potential of human-alien cooperation. The crisis was over, but its repercussions were just beginning to unfold. As Zyla looked out at the sea of relieved faces, human and alien alike, she knew that the real work of building a truly united galactic community was only just beginning.